Dawn has just broken on the 17th of October. We're looking here from the south, and we can see that along the front here there's been a little bit of moving around, but nothing much has changed there at all. However, the night wasn't quiet. There were two actions, one by the coalition and one by the French, that seemed too good an opportunity to miss. So let's kind of look at what the French attempted to do. So here we have down from Leipzig here, controlling the line of communication of the French. The French took the night opportunity to attack the Austrians. There were several disorganised and routed units. Now it's night time, so there's no fire of any kind, so it's pretty much an infantry action. However, it didn't go that well for the French. Although some of these Austrian units have a low morale, they are quite large, and the French just could not generate the mass to cause them any particular problem. So they're still in a good position here, I'd say, in this sector, the French. They've got some units over here that have just rallied. They belong to units in the other part of the battlefield, so they're way out of control range, but even so, even if they just stand their ground there, they're protecting that line of supply. So still going pretty well here for the French, and I think now morning has risen. I think the cannons will make, I don't think they'll make short work of the Austrians, but I think they will be able to check the Austrians there and probably drive them back. The main area for the coalition assault has been up here in the north. As we know from previous days played, that the north has been the most productive for the coalition so far. So walking down the line here, not a lot happened here, a bit of addressing of the line till we come to this area here, which is sort of just north of Leipzig. The newly arrived Russian corps during the night pushed their way through the woods, heading for the already demoralised Young Guard, heavily depleted demoralised Young Guard, and promptly swept them away, pushing as far as to here before dawn broke, with the only good order unit between them and Leipzig being this cavalry unit here. This caused a great deal of consternation in the French units. There's actually not much here when you start taking it apart. There's not actually that many French. It's quite worrying, I think, for the French, and definitely these units here will need to pull back. So the French brought some units down here to try and contain it, which wasn't successful. And the last couple of turns, although the Prussians wanted to rest, they have pushed forward here. So we've got this salient here with very little to stop them actually getting into Leipzig. Now the light of the day is up there, so I think it's going to be a rapid pullback of the French for a last bit defence there. They do have some reinforcements coming on over here, but that's still 3 hours away. So that's been quite exciting. Night turns are quite interesting. I wouldn't have done any apart from those seem two obvious places. I think especially here, I think it went far better than I thought. I didn't think they'd make quite so much progress, but they thought they'd probably give the Young Guard there, that are already demoralised, quite a hard time, but they just sort of withered away. So looking over the battle, as daylight's about to begin, I've yet to write today's orders. It's what I'm going to do shortly. Then I'm away for a while, so it's going to be a little while before I get another video back. But there's such an advantage here for the Allies at the moment. Even with the large French cavalry force here, they're having trouble making progress against the guns and the cavalry holding here. I mean, maybe if they could very early on push these away, try and get in behind here, but pretty shortly these Allies are going to be over here. They're going to be in terrain that's going to make it difficult for the French cavalry to make much of an impact. Although, you know, we keep trying. I think the old guard are going to have to come across and be committed here. It's just too dangerous at the moment. Okay, down here over the Elster River, the French will not receive any more reinforcements, not with Leipzig under so much threat. But I think they've got enough there. The Austrians are a little bit fragile there, so I think they're going to be okay. Along the line over here, we pull back to where we started from, we can see we've got fairly strong forces. They don't have an overwhelming advantage here. So initially my thoughts were on the 17th there would not be much action at all. There's no real reason for the coalition to push on, not with so many reinforcements that were expected on the 18th, tomorrow, when I expect the Army of Poland, Prussian Corps, Russian Corps, we've got the Swedes arriving. There's quite a lot happening there, so there's no point to push on much here, and I wasn't going to, but the developments over here meant that we will see some significant action on the 17th. I think coalition would be losing the opportunity to push on here. They have got plenty of forces to do it. I know there are Russian corps arriving over here at 9 o'clock, but there's also a coalition corps arriving. I can quite remember where it's coming from. Okay, we've got an Austrian corps, map 10, which is, if I can remember rightly, is all the way over here, which is a long way away from having there. So the French do have those, so they need to hold, but holding for 3 hours, 6 turns, I think they're going to have to give ground. They're just going to have to give a ground. They can't be cut off from this area here. So I think they're going to have to give ground when those reinforcements, which I think are coming from, I'd have to check, I think they're coming from down this road here. Okay, so yes, so though the French would really like to have a bit of a break, the old guard are going to have to come across and at least protect Leipzig here, try and buy as much time as possible, be quite reckless with the cavalry I think today to try and check the coalition, wait for the reinforcements to arrive, try and stabilise that front. I don't think a lot will happen here. Apart from the coalition have superiority in guns, so I think the cannon will just keep blasting away, which will probably slowly force the French to retreat. And here the French are gonna go for it. If they could clear this area here, which is their retreat area, it will allow sort of a, the collapsing pocket to funnel back through here with an area to reorganise, or maybe even do a last ditch attempt here. The only way to get here over these two bridges, which there are rules about them being blown, which historically happened, leaving lots of French units trapped over that side of the bridge, but that's a couple of days away. If worse comes to the worst, we have to withdraw as much as the army as possible across here. But, I said in my previous video, it's quite difficult bringing your army across this single causeway with the coalition pressing. You start routing units are going to route through these units, causing further routes, and before you know it, the entire army might be gone. So that's going to be something that's going to have to be, if it is going to happen, and it definitely looks like that's going to be the case. That's something that needs to be managed if Napoleon still wants to have any chance of getting a draw out of this, which I think is the only hope they can do. I think, especially with this action here, the coalition must be looking for a win here. Three French corps already demoralised. Need quite a fair few, but there's some sort of hanging on. So we'll see. Okay, there we go. So the morning play to do. There we go.